Okay. The next section we want to talk about is make or buy analysis. Okay, this is the kind of analysis that you decide now whether you should make this specific product or whatever, or you should buy that product. Let's say now you want to make use of a microscope in your project. The question that you need to ask yourself is: should we make this microscope within our company, or we can actually buy one? Because it depends now on what you are doing. It's the same as saying, let's say if you're working on a construction project, let's say you're building at home, you might ask yourself, should I make the bricks by myself or I should buy bricks? You see, it's the same concept. So this analysis now, like I said, it means figuring out whether or not you should be contracting out the work or do it yourself. Whether it's contracting or buying, it's the same thing. You just need to decide whether you do it internally or you give it out. Okay, this is now where the issue of contracting comes in. It also brings in the issue of giving out tenders. That's where it comes in again. Okay, so it means deciding whether to build a solution to your problem within your own organization. You come up with your own technology to use, or you should buy one that exists. I'm not sure if Prof. Mawesha probably told you guys, he's always talking about things like they at the global element 6, they are working on some technologies. Let's say they are working on some on drilling oil under the sea, but the technology that they have can only go to a certain depth. Have you, did he tell you something like that?
Nope.
Okay, it's like the technology that they are having can only go to a certain depth. So now it's for them now to come up with a technology that goes beyond that depth so that they can achieve their objective. So it's such things that you need to analyze now. Should you wait for someone else to do it, or you should do it by yourself? Even now, when we are dealing with this corona, the question that Namibia can ask themselves is: should we develop our own vaccine, or maybe we can wait for other countries to develop it, then buy it from them? It's the same.
Namibian vaccine.
Yeah. So these are the questions. So there are a number of questions that you need to ponder on, or you need to ask yourself when doing this analysis. Questions like, how much does it cost to build it as opposed to buying it? If you buy a microscope, how much will it cost you? And if you were to make your own microscope within the company, how much will it cost you? Some of those things are even, some of them are protected. They are regarded as intellectual property. So you cannot just start making a similar product again. What the Chinese do sometimes. They have their own way of doing things. They come up with something more or less the same.
Adibas.
Not sometimes, sir. Doing it with every product.
Yeah, you see? Those are the things we are talking about. So, and again, how will this decision affect the scope of the project? Let's say now, you said when you're going to construct your house, you want to make the bricks by yourself. Okay, it's fine. How will it impact the cost of your project? You can say, no, it will reduce the cost because we are not buying bricks anymore. Okay. But remember also, you need maybe to pay the guys who are going to make those bricks. That was not there before. And maybe you need to prepare the area where you're going to make those bricks also. You need the equipment also. Okay, but it depends. Okay, it's just an analysis that you need to do. And how will it affect the project schedule? Because remember, this is a change now that you have come up with. Is it gonna? It maybe sometimes it might affect it positively or negatively, depending on the conditions you are working with. So basically, what you have here is some sort of balance that you need to make. So you need to weigh all the options that you have. So again, do you have time to do all the work and still meet the commitments of the project. Remember, you have given commitments to top management that this project will be completed by when, it will cost this much, it will be of this quality, all those commitments. You cannot go back and give excuses that no, we tried to come up with a microscope. Oh, that microscope wasted our time. That one, no, those guys they did not give you that. That was not the objective. They don't even want to hear those stories. So this is basically a balance that you must make, whether to make or to buy. So things that you need to consider whether to make, is it a strategic move? You can say, no, you know what, I chose to make bricks by myself so that once I'm done with building my house, I can actually use that facility to keep making bricks. Then I can sell to other people. Okay, that is strategic. See? Or you can say, no, we came up with this technology. After this, we will own that technology and we can actually sell it to others, and then we can always get money from that technology. You see, strategic. Availability. How would you explain this one?
Um, maybe by saying that uh, the parts that you uh, the parts that you need to assemble the say for example the microscope now, are they available?
Yes, that's correct.
Mhm.
Are they available? And if they're available, let's say if something goes wrong with them, can they
Yeah.
be fixed locally? No, maybe you only need to get someone coming from Japan. Yo, then it means the production will have to stop.
That's what happens with all the products that are coming from China or like
Yeah,
the pig. Uh,
yes,
you always need someone from there to fix them.
yeah. You see, that's another problem again. You've
Uh,
introduced by solving this problem, you've introduced another problem on top of that. Okay, in-house
Well,
experience,
many more problems.
and again, in-house. Not everyone might be familiar with that technology. Let's say if you buy a microscope, no one knows how to use it. So maybe you need to send these guys for training. Even you, when you are done with when you are done with your project, that deliverable of yours. Let's say now you are designing a plant. We we might not be able to make use of that plant well. We might not be able to run that plant. So what you need to do is you need to perhaps maybe spend, let's say, 2 weeks. You leave some of your metallurgists. You can say, no, Christine and Jude, stay behind so they can train these guys how to run this plant. Then you train them like that. And like that, they will have that experience after that. Third party risk. Remember when we did the risk management, we also talked about transferring the risk and sharing the risk. If there is a risk, maybe in coming up with that microscope, you might as well just leave it to the, you might as well leave it to someone else. Okay, you can just contract it out. If there is a risk involved with coming up with this coronavirus vaccine, if Namibia tries to come up with that coronavirus vaccine, and then you inject some people, and then they cannot, after some time, they become what? Let's say paralyzed or having some side effects. You see, you want to avoid some of those things. It becomes risky. You see, but it comes with risk. It comes in both ways. In the negative way, positive way also. The decision depends on you. Some of the things have legal implications. So you need to consider all those legal issues involved. Let's say now you want to wire the house. Since you are not having a certificate of compliance and you don't have a certificate of compliance, you can actually say, you know what, I'll just contact Malvin. Malvin can come install all this electrical stuff for us because he's having that certificate of compliance. It's the same thing that I was saying about engineers who are not registered with the engineering council. If no one within the organization is registered with the engineering council, they can design, but you can bring in that other guy, a third party. You can bring in a consultant who is registered with the engineering council, so that he can, let's say, verify that those designs and sign them off. You see, because it's having legal implications, you cannot just skip it. And the other thing is about costs also. You need to check them out now, direct and indirectly. How does it affect the project? Okay, types of procurement contracts. There are a lot of contracts available in terms of contracts. Let's say this is in terms of whether you are tendering or you are giving a consultancy work. There are a number of contracts that are available. Okay, there are a lot. I'll not be able to go through each and every single one of them, but I'll give you a website where you can check them out also for yourself. Okay, the procurement contracts that exist include what you call fixed price contract, time and material contract, and the cost reimbursement contract. Okay, okay, fixed price contract. This just the price is fixed. You basically give them a lump sum. Okay, it's like it's basically the same as saying Malvin or Christine design this plan for us. We will give you and just give us the total price that we must pay. Design the entire plan. Then they will say no. They'll come back and say no, 1.5 billion Namibian dollars. Okay, you see, that's a lump sum. They just give you a lump sum once off. Or you can say no, build for us a house. For that house, we will give you 1.5 million. Okay, then they complete everything. Okay, some are called now incentive fees. These ones can be changing. Okay, like this one, firm price award fee. Here you are. What you are doing is the price is fixed, but depending on the performance in terms of achieving those objectives of the project, you can actually award them like it's like giving them bonuses here and then after they perform well. Okay. Okay, purchase order. This one is more of a there's a purchase order PO. Okay, we'll run through it also later. Okay, this is more of like just like you buying when you want to buy anything from outside, those people will give you a quotation. Once you've given you a quotation, you fill in a PR, which is a purchase requisition. That purchase requisition should be signed off by the manager. So basically, what has happened is that the manager has approved to buy that specific equipment. And then once the PR has been raised, then you send that PR to the commercial department. The commercial department or the supply chain department, they approve they approve the PO, the purchase order. So this purchase order now is like a legal document that you give to your supplier that I want you to supply with me this kind of crusher. There are this, let's say there are two of them and they will cost this much. So it's a legal document. They can actually take you to court with that document. Okay, the other kinds of contracts is time and material. Here you are paid on per hour basis. I'm sure you probably heard about that one. Okay, you can also be paid per item. Okay, other cost reimbursement contracts is like cost contract. Cost contract, this is where you are paid just for your costs that you have experienced. I can say, build for me the house. I'm not. It's not. It's like you're not gonna get paid the profit. It's like you're gonna get paid only for your costs. Whatever costs you have experienced, I'm gonna pay them off. Yeah, you can read about all these contracts. They are more. They are not so far off. This is the website where I took some of the this information. It's summarized here. I can just show you quickly. You see, like fixed. Okay, the diagram is this one. Okay, firm fixed price. Okay, fixed incentive. All these prices, you can actually just check them out. But I don't think it's. You don't need to memorize them. You just need to have an idea that there's something like that. Okay, okay, there's now what we call now soliciting bids. Okay, solicitation is basically a process where you are requesting for a price and for support information from suppliers or from whoever can provide you with that material or service that you need. So this process involves uh, involves the following. So the qualifying bidders, these are people or these are entities that are able to provide you with that material or to perform that specific work that you want. Okay, if you say you want a house to be built, there are a number of people that will apply to you who are actually able to supply that specific material. okay, or to provide that service. So those are the potential bidders. Then you also need to request for a quotation from them, so that that quotation, the bidder that meets that specific project quality and they are able to achieve it on time, they give you that quotation of theirs. Then you run through everything. And normally, that contract or whatever, or it's a tender, it will be given to those who are able to achieve all the project requirements, but they have the lowest cost. The bottom line is the lowest cost. They should have the lowest cost amongst all of them. So you compare all of them. So what you need to ask from them is you need to request for a proposal. It's abbreviated as RFP. So this one focuses on the price and also on meeting the quality standards. And you need to evaluate those bids now to check who is able to provide all the requirements, but at the lowest cost. And then after that, you award that contract. So like that, you have given out that tender, and that company who can work on it. But you need to now sit with those a representative from the project team need to sit with that company so that they can agree on all the requirements and make sure you understand each other, because you don't want them to start and then later you are saying different things again. And most importantly, you need to manage those contracts. So again, this falls under you again, you as a project manager or project engineer. Okay, there's again further information on that website. Okay, is there any questions so far before we go to bill of material?
So about this bidding of
Yes.
say for example tenders, like how do you know that by what percentage must you be the lowest bidder, or if the question is correct? But I just want to find out, like, say for example there's a tender of buying a microscope.
Yes.
So you have to look for a microscope that's cheap but has high quality.
Yeah. So let's say now,
Then now
you are having companies which can supply us with microscopes.
yeah.
So now we're going to compare now. Amongst you, did you all reach the quality that we want? Yes, you have all reached that quality. But maybe there is one of you who is actually given a high quality microscope, but that high quality microscope is also given at a low price. You see? Like that, it means we will win because we got the highest quality microscope at the lowest price. So all those things need to be screened. That's why even in Namibia we have I forgot what it's called. It's like a procurement board or what, something like that.
Procurement board.
Yes. So they
I
go
think
through all those things to make sure, because there's a lot of corruption and all those funny stuff happening.
but then there's always corruption there, because like those people they give out figures of where you should be in between so you can have the tender.
Yeah, such things. That's why now
Such things.
you need to manage such things now. Because
So you as the manager should be able to see whether to make sure that no numbers are leaked somewhere. Say for example you are the manager at that plant and you need to buy a new microscope. So
yes, yeah, you should try.
there are people.
It's
So you
difficult,
should
but
try to prevent this.
yeah, I think that's why they established that, just to make sure there's some proper controls in place. But it's difficult, eh?
Yeah. It's very difficult.
Even you see, when I was working in industry, when I was in industry, we used to buy. Even me myself, I used to order the things from my plant. Let's say when you become a metallurgist, you will be required to get your own materials. Let's say you are a metallurgist for, let's say for leach. Okay, metallurgist for leach, you need to make sure your plant, leach is your plant, you need to make sure it has everything it needs. Let's say you said you need acid. Do you have enough acid? Yes. Maybe you guys have a sulfuric acid plant on site. If you don't have sulfuric acid on site, It means you're gonna have to buy maybe acid from, let's say, from Dundee. If you're buying acid from Dundee, you need to make sure that acid is supplied on time and you have enough of it. It becomes your baby, that one.
Yeah.
If you need some, let's say if your leaching plant has a neutralization stage, then maybe you need to make sure you have lime on board. You have enough lime to neutralize those dissolved metals and everything else you might need. Maybe if you need those balls for the mill, you need to make sure they are enough. If you need if those ones in Essex, they need the diluent, they must make sure they have enough diluent. Those ones at EW, maybe they will need some strontium carbonate that they use in the sauce to suppress those, let's say the lead. They need to make sure you have all those things. So sometimes how I've experienced this is that I was actually the one controlling this by myself. I was the one in contacting the suppliers. I'm the one who is comparing that this supplier is having a higher price, this one is having a low price. Okay. And I can actually look for more suppliers also by myself. And I'm the one who is judging all that. But the technical manager can also always check what I do, but most of the time they are not. It's not really his responsibility. For him, it's just to oversight, just to have an overview. So it will be the same thing when you are working on your projects.
So you can also make money through that.
That's it. I think other people tried something funny, but just that it's not for this session. But
Yeah.
when the right time comes, I'll share some stories with you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of bill of material, okay. Remember now. Let's say just to give you an example. Let's say now your project is designing a plant. Okay, I'm sure you guys have done that plant design. When you are coming up with your PFD, was it a PFD? Yeah, I think it was a PFD. That block flow, uh, that process flow diagram. If you check on the right at the top there, there's I think there used to be like a list of equipment, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and maybe at the bottom there's usually power ratings and flows and all that. Okay, that list of equipment, you can actually take that list. Let's say now, because when it comes to order bill of material now, in this case, what you want to do is you want to order the things now that you said you need for your project. Okay, so that bill of material is like a list of all the equipment that you need. So you can take that all this equipment from your PFDs. Then it's like you have that list of equipment. You specify exactly what they will be doing and how you are going to use them, how much they will cost, and from where you get them. Okay? Who are the suppliers? So that whole thing now is called a bill of material. Okay? So it's basically having all the equipment that you need, what they will be used for, where you can find them, and how much they will cost, basically. And then that will become part of your order. When you're ordering, you can actually order all of them. If I ask you, give me a list of everything that you need for this project so we can order them, you can give me that. What you're going to give me is a bill of materials. So a bill of material is a comprehensive list of materials required to create that product, as well as the instructions for using the required materials. You see now, it's a list. It's basically a list of all the equipment or materials that you need for your project. Okay, it's the list of equipment or material and also the instructions on how to use them. So if it was like how can I say, maybe just to simplify it, let's say if it was cooking, let's say your project is cooking or cooking a specific whatever plate you want, you need the ingredients. Okay, that's like a list of now the equipment. Okay, and also the instructions for using those ingredients. So this will be like how do they call it? Is it a recipe or recipe? whatever they call it. I've put it down here.
Question.
You see here, down what I said here, a bill of material can be understood as a recipe and shopping list for creating the final product. You see, there you have the recipe and the list of the ingredients that you're going to use. So the recipe will be the instructions for using those equipment, and the shopping list is now in terms of the materials and the equipment that you need for that project. So the bill of material explains how, what, why the materials can be obtained, and also the instructions on how to assemble that product or how you're going to use it. Because when you give those instructions to the other person, the supplier, he will understand exactly what you're going to do, and then he will even be able to guide you and say, I understand that you wrote this, but this is actually not the latest technology that exists. There's something like this called. So then you can make a better choice. They can guide you. Okay, so how does this work? Remember, like we said, you have your design here. You're already done with your design, your plan design. And then in that plan design, you have an equipment list. So from there, you can get actually your equipment, okay, and how you're going to use them. You will know all that from the design. And then you also have a catalog, or some prefer to make use of a vendor's list. A vendor's list is basically like a list of suppliers that are already supplying the company, okay? So from the design, you get the list of equipment, how they will be used, where they will be used, and how, that's in terms of your instructions, okay? And then you add now the list of suppliers who will supply what. So that becomes your bill of material. That's that block that you see there. And then that whole thing now, the order for that whole thing is called the order bill of material. So it's for the whole batch. So for the order for everything that you need for that project. And then that batch bill of material can actually be broken down into different orders. Okay, and then that is actually normally linked with it's integrated with the ERP. This enterprise ERP stands for enterprise resource planning. So that system is like a integration system which is linked to almost everything about the business, from HR, accounting, procurement, logistics, everything. It's linked up so that everyone can have access to those things if they were supposed to have that access to it. So that is linked up now with your accounting software because these things need to be paid. And then you export these files into Excel and wherever is required. Okay, and the purchase order process now, like I said, this is a legal document which is sent to suppliers to authorize a purchase. Okay, it outlines what the buyer would like to buy, okay, and the quantities that they want. It's basically once you get a quotation, the supplier will give you a quotation. You will give him a PO that says that we want to buy this and this. Okay. So first, that process works like this. So first, you need to analyze and select that vendor or that supplier, and then you request for a quotation. If they give you the quotation, you create a PR. It's a requisition. You want to request from the manager that we want to buy this specific good. Then the manager will approve. Once they approve, then they create a purchase order. Then you negotiate with that contractor. Then you send to them that purchase order, the PO. Then like that, you receive the goods. You might receive the goods, and then you check the invoices. Then you receive the goods, and then the invoice will be authorized, and then you pay the vendor. Then you keep record of it. Like that, that process is done. Okay, the other important thing again that you deal with under procurement for the project is in terms of transporting your goods. Transporting them and storing them. Those are very important aspects. So you as a project engineer or a project manager, you need to make sure that you get your goods on time and on cost. Okay, this area is called logistics. And the logistics management is part of the supply chain management. Okay, they call it commercial. It's like a separate department. Okay, it depends now on how the organization is structured. But sometimes you might be required to do it by yourself. Okay, so what they say here is the logistics for a project should be managed by the project team. Normally, you need to manage that because people from the logistics department might not know how important that document is, or how important that whatever material you want is, but you know because it's for your project. And the delivery of these materials influences the schedule of the project. You see, you don't want to say no, we did not get this, so the whole thing is delayed because of the procurement department. You don't want to do that. Okay, so the supply chain management deals with procurement. It deals with things like supply strategy, deals with supply chain planning, logistics management, all that. So it deals with suppliers, manufacturers, warehouse. This is in terms of storing, and also deals with customers. So you need to have an idea of how those things work. So the question you need to ask yourself now is, what should you consider when transporting materials? What do you think?
How they are sealed, their containers maybe, or
Yeah.
their packaging.
Yes, yes.
That's
true, especially if they're coming, let's say if they're coming over, let's say via the coming with ships. You see, they might get exposed to that mist and all that, might get oxidized. You don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there are a lot of questions that you can ask yourself there, because you will be an expert because you are the one working on that project. You know exactly what you want. So depending on your project, you might find yourself ordering some, I don't know, some dump trucks or whatever, coming like that. Should they come like that? Or maybe they should be shipped. This is the project we are working on, so you need this vessel or whatever, some reactor, or is it some Pachuca tank or whatever it is, or autoclave. Okay, or it should come it should fly. You want it tomorrow, you see, or it should come by train.
Last minute things.
Yeah, if you leave it with procurement guys, they will put it on the train. It's cheaper.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Yeah, and then you cannot explain to management. You have another big problem again. And remember your network diagram, you have given that as your promise. You have given those Gantt charts and all those things. You are saying you complete it soon after a short period of time. Okay. So this is the end of this presentation. I wanted to show you something about the, what is this? Okay, this, remember the work breakdown structure that we did earlier on house construction? There was a procurement section where we said that you need to allocate costs to the things that you want to buy for your project. Like here, we said we'll buy cement, we'll buy bricks, we'll buy concrete stones, we'll buy plumbing equipment, roofing materials, renting out a concrete mixer, all that, even sand, you see? So you need to work those things out. They fit in again within your project. Is there perhaps something you guys maybe want to ask?
So far, everything is clear.
Oh, okay. So you see, this process, we used to go through it by myself. In fact, I used to negotiate prices for, let's say now, I was mainly a metallurgist for solvent extraction and electrowinning. So all those reagents that we use in that plant were in my control. If I want diluent, I negotiate the price for diluent. I'll tell you that no, yes, I know you have sent to me the quotation and it's like this, but it's expensive. Consider reducing your price. And then the guy will be like, no, we export this from what. He's telling you long stories. And then for me, I will just tell him like, you know what? There's another guy who can actually supply me this product of the same quality, but at a lower price. Then if I tell him that, then the guy will gonna reduce. So it's the same thing when you're working on projects. I was doing one project on Essex where it was my main focus was on organic degradation, but I found myself stuck because the organic degradation, it's like it could not be analyzed anywhere in Namibia. I think probably the entire Africa. So but the supplier for leaks ended up contacting the original equipment, or the originator, the owner of leaks. They are in the US. So I ended up sending my samples to that side with his help. These are some of the things. Then it takes like maybe 2 months just to get the results for that.
But now you have a lot of experience now, sir,
Not
in
that
these
much.
things. You can also start your own company now.
Yeah, I'm still working on that. I want to go into that.
Yeah.
I think it's good to be to have that entrepreneurial mindset, because you want to tell me all the metallurgists, all they do is go work for some other companies or for people overseas. While that guy is just there playing golf, spending the entire time with his family.
Living his life.
Yeah.
And you are here waking up 7:30 for the meeting so you can do the mass balances by 8.
Yeah, you see? So, yeah, so all those, that's why, but you can only go in that route if you understand some of these things.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, then if there is no other questions, then it's good how I'll be in touch with you guys.
Okay,
Then
sir.
have a good day then.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Bye. Have a good day.
Okay,
Bye.
likewise. Bye.